most annoying friends. I just hate them so much.
But then we go to the mall to figure out a place to shoot their video where they're going to talk about, like, let's buy girls gifts at the mall. And Derek is, like, sweet-talking this retail lady who ends up being extremely racist.
Who is terrible. Yeah.
She's terrible in so many ways. I mean, she's openly racist, like, not
Just
even
blatantly,
hiding it.
unapologetically. He's, like, talking to her, and he's like, let us film here. It's for a school project, blah, blah, blah. He's probably being kind of slimy, but
He is
that's
definitely
Derek.
being slimy.
And
Yes.
she's like, okay, fine. But I got to keep an extra eye on your, like, homeboy over there. She says something like that.
She definitely says homeboy.
It's exactly that. She's like, but I'm just going to keep an eye on your homeboy. But the way she says homeboy is such a, like, it caught me so off guard. As like, I really wasn't expecting this lady to just be horribly racist in the first minute that you meet her.
I know.
But you know what? Degrassi throws everything out the window, so it may as well be.
Yeah.
I mean, they really wanted to just establish her character right away. More things that I hated about this person. She has a weird British accent that's definitely like just like her trying to sound fancy. It's one of those. It's like a Madonna British accent.
Yeah.
And she gets won over into like this whole like, sure, you can shoot here, when he's like, a lot of guys are going to watch this video, a lot of guys with money. And she's like, oh, great, sign me up. And I'm like, it is a high school project. The only adult watching this is a public school teacher. You do not want any of these
We're
people.
not putting this on YouTube. And this is also before, like, YouTube was even that big.
This was 2008. I was a sophomore in college when this came out, and YouTube was nowhere near the height of the popularity that it is in the year 2017.
I don't even think you could monetize YouTube videos in 2008 yet. But I don't know.
They definitely didn't have ads then.
No.
No, they didn't.
They might not have even been owned by Google yet. I don't know when that happened. Anyway, just getting into some YouTube business models talk. But then after he like convinces her to let them shoot there, Danny's like, homeboy? Like, I don't know if I want to shoot here.
And Derek, who's just like
Oblivious.
But it's also like just the classic like white privilege, just totally unaware of like what is going on in that sort of scenario. It's just like, she was joking, but it's like, no.
She was just blatantly who she was.
Like, here's a pretty good rule of thumb. If your friend is a person of color and they tell you that someone is being racist, believe them.
Yeah. Let's not gaslight
pretty much.
him. And he's like, and you know what? I don't think Rachel would want to shoot here either. And Derek is like, it'll be fine. We got to do it for the project. It was a joke. And moving on. And that's the end of that scene. We haven't talked about any fashion yet. Should we do that before we forget to?
Yes.
All right, let's start Fashion Police.
Fashion Police. Every single thing that this like horrible woman wears is terrible. She's wearing these like giant gold earrings. She just like they like just made her look like just a little bit trashy, just like a little bit cheap. Like everything that she's wearing is like just like kind of off.
Derek's wearing a blue shirt with like flying bird graphics on it, which I thought was an interesting choice for him.
Emma's hair and Manny's hair both look great.
Spike's hair is blonde now.
I know. I don't hate it. I usually hate it when she goes blonde, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a good cut.
I think it looked fine.
It was fine.
Oh, Manny wears this like brown flowy shirt at one point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, this is when brown was a thing.
Like brown
clothing.
Flowy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. 2008.
Why?
All of Derek's underwear choices really bummed me out.
Were just the ones you picked up?
Yeah. And was like they were just
and like caressing against his face.
Yeah, I just like a little bit queasy. And also just bad taste. Like very vibrant blue. Not a great choice. The crotchless panties were terrifying.
Yeah.
And they're also like borderline flesh colored, and at that point, why bother?
I mean, why bother if they're going to be crotchless anyway? They serve no purpose.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it's got that should bring you over to Danny's Dickie.
Good call. Oh boy.
I do love that Danny's Dicky inspired a sick Franklin roast.
Oh my god.
It was just so ridiculous. It's like, I mean, at some point, just wear a turtleneck or a scarf. Like, why do you need a separate, like, article of clothing just for your neck? You're not skiing. What's happening here?
I think he just doesn't own a turtleneck.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in Canada. Wear a scarf.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah, me neither. There really wasn't a lot of good fashion in this episode.
No.
There was just too much absurdity happening for any sort of yeah.
All right. So then where are we? Oh, but then we're back at Emma's house and like they're all eating a really sad dinner and just talking about the state of their lives.
It's just a real bummer.
Just like going around the table, not having a good time.
And Emma is being like a brat. Oh my god.
And Emma's like, oh, I thought I'd have Manny over for dinner and she can help us watch Jack. And Mr. Simpson's like, I'm not allowed to have students here until we get things cleared up. And she's like, fine, then can I just go to her house? And it's just like, Emma, have some fucking compassion.
She's like, you're ruining my life.
Anytime they're in this house, it is insanely low lit. Like, yes. I don't think they don't own any lights. They can't because it's just too dark.
How are you going to know how sad they are if it isn't poorly lit, though?
Ugh, boy. So that's kind of that scene. And then we're back. We're back at school. And Peter's like, check out my new toy. And, like, whips out this huge video camera. And I'm like, of course, his new toy is a video camera. Also, has nobody learned their lesson about giving Peter a video camera?
Seriously. The last time he got a new toy that was a video camera, it was a disaster for everyone.
Yeah, it ended up in him distributing child pornography and not getting in trouble for it for some reason.
He got detention.
Canada's
that totally
crazy.
Counts. He got so much detention,
and
guys.
His mom was really mad.
His mom was pissed. And she's the principal, so he was in trouble.
Yeah. But not with the law.
No, but he should have been.
Yeah.
And then Derek is like, you guys should film me asking out Rachel and her totally saying yes. And I'm like, cool, that's going to work out really well for you.
Yeah, and then he goes to ask her out, and she's like, let's just focus on the project. And Peter and Danny are just laughing at him. And Derek's like, cut it, don't film me anymore. Blah. And then he, like, goes to chase Peter because he's not going to delete the video. And then right away, Rachel's like, hey, Danny, we should go out. And just like, all right, we know what Rachel's about.
She's wasting no time.
Also, if I had to choose between Danny and Derek, I think she made the right choice.
Oh, yeah, no, she definitely made the right call.
But then we are with Emma in science class, and she is struggling in school because she's distracted by this Mr. Simpson thing. And
I mean, honestly, though, she got a C- on like one chemistry exam, and I would have literally punched someone in the face in high school for a C- in chemistry.
It's Emma, though. Like, C- is like a death sentence to a perfectionist straight A student like Emma.
Yeah, so why did she put that a mole was an actual mole? Like,
yeah.
She had to have thought that was not right.
She's like, it's right in some way. Maybe I'll get partial credit.
Like, I don't know too much about the Canadian school system, but that can't be right in any country.
No. And, I mean, it is a type of science, technically. It's biology. So she's in the right area.
She's like, we studied guinea pigs a couple years ago. Like, maybe this is where this is going.
Oh, I forgot about the guinea pigs. That's right.
But then she runs into Damien after class, and he's, like, carrying around a book, and he's like, it's my favorite author, and Emma's very
impressed. It's a really
impressed.
Good plug for Dave Eggers.
Yeah, and Emma's like, I don't think I've ever known any guy who had a favorite author, and is very impressed by this basic interest of his.
I mean, she dated Sean. He's not, like, hugely literary.
And I guess Chris maybe was more into music than books.
I don't know. I think just maybe Emma needs to date smarter people. I don't know. But although that is a really good book.
Yeah, I haven't read it.
I highly recommend. It's really good.
Well, Emma really loves it. We learn later.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Have you read it, Mike?
No, I haven't.
Well, I highly recommend it. Heartbreaking work of
Cool.
staggering
Kelsey
genius.
is turning into Emma. She's going to get a dog. She's going to name it Eggers.
I'm really not.
She's going to force Damien to, like, co-raise the dog with her.
Oh,
You're going to go
something
0
else.
to 100
You're going to
so
go
quick.
NASCAR.
If I'm known for anything, it's clearly how quickly I move in a relationship.
Pump those brakes.
I say, never being able to follow through. Yeah, no, it's a great book though. I mean, highly recommend. It's the title is fairly ironic, although it is like very like the premise is sad, but the writing is funny and interesting and weird. I don't know. Read that book.
Well, Emma is about to. But meanwhile, now we get to the turtleneck scene where Danny is wearing a turtleneck or a dickie, I guess. And at first I wrote down, because then he and Danny's like, what's with the turtleneck? Like, whatever. And Danny, I think, starts to say, like, I don't know, I'm more mature now. Or I feel like it alluded to him being his fashion choice. Like, alluded to him being more mature. I'm like, is this him trying to be more mature to be able to date Rachel? But then I'm like, oh wait, no, it's to hide a hickey.
Yeah, no, I wrote that is an obvious hickey hider, and also I wrote hickeys are the most high school.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, is there anything more high school than a hickey? Really?
That and many,
Like,
yeah, I don't know.
That's not a thing that adults should do.
No, definitely
No.
not. Not that stops some people, but yeah.
I know.
But Derek, I don't know. They start talking about Rachel, and then Derek finds out that Danny has received a hickey from Rachel because she walks by also wearing a turtleneck, and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then Derek is like, the only thing you're good at is stealing. And like, you stole her from me.
Because he does not steal
no.
anything. We have no evidence of Danny ever stealing. We just have, like, the racist store clerk being like, I bet you're going to steal something. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. And he doesn't, like, just jump to this conclusion. I mean, he kind of does. But also, Danny is like, well, you know, because, like, at first Derek is, like, talking all sorts of shit about Rachel. And Danny's like, no, we should keep hanging out with her. It's fine. And he's like, just because she doesn't like you, I mean, maybe she likes somebody else. I don't know. And then Derek is like, what, Peter? And it's like, no, dude. Come on.
He's like, obviously it can't be you. and then
Yeah, like give him a little bit of credit. That was just like rude of him.
it was so rude. And then just like, you stole her from me. And I was just like, she's not property. She wasn't yours to begin with.
In my notes at this point, I put, uh-oh, love triangle. But also, not really, because Danny didn't steal Rachel from Derek when Rachel chose Danny over Derek and is also a human being who never showed any interest in Derek to begin with. How can you just say no to this face that I'm going to keep on sending you guys?
It is the best face. It's so...
We're going to have to tweet out the face that Mike keeps just periodically sending to us over Skype.
It's a very smug face.
Dumb little face.
It's the dumbest face.
Fucking Derek.
Oh,
In my notes, I have this picture of his face, and I just wrote, I do not like his smug face. I do not.
I mean, that's super fair. It's a terrible face.
But then they're in class, and I think they're still, like, fighting about Rachel, and then Mr. Perino's like, sounds like you've got a Yoko, and they, like, stare at him blankly. He's like, you know, Yoko Ono, they say she broke up the Beatles, and they're like, the Beatles? I'm like, there's no way they don't know who the fucking Beatles are. Or who Yoko
Not to mention
Ono
that
is.
the title is a George Harrison song.
Exactly!
Like, who doesn't understand, like, Yokoing? Like, who doesn't know who the Beatles are? I feel like children know who the Beatles are. Or at least, like, our generation, like, knows, because we had parents who grew up loving the Beatles.
And they are our generation, because I was 16 in 2008. I know who the fucking Beatles are. I would have